Greetings. I started all the podcast.
I hope you do.
Shows. Welcome to our Mad Entrepreneurs show, where we make a difference one conversation at a time. Today I have my lovely wife, Lauren Barriga.
Really?
Really? So, did you find my studio pretty well?
Yes, it's a nice studio, good setup.
Yeah. You didn't get lost on the way in?
I did. In this mansion that we live in.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
The whole 10,000 square feet mansion that we have.
If that's how we do numbers now, yes.
That's how I do the numbers. It keeps me going.
You're in charge of all of our numbers?
Sometimes.
So what do you want to talk about today? What shall we discuss?
I was saying, since I made that video about delayed gratification, maybe if I tell the people how... Well, to me, it wasn't that difficult, but I'm sure for you it was difficult.
We're talking about Greystone?
I'm talking about the beginning of, not Greystone yet, when we first bought the house, then added the studio.
Yeah.
But the fact that I wasn't basically like what other people do, right? You have money and then you spend it on vacations, you spend it on extra stuff that you don't need, cars, going out. Yeah, well, I mean, I spent a few, but not a massive amount. I think the majority of my money was going into investments. To a point where I told you I'm broke, and you're like, how the hell are you broke when you have all this money?
First you did, because you were like, remember where you came from, and then all of a sudden you had all this money from SpaceX, and before you got your head on right, you were like spending money left and right and racking up the credit card, and then that's when you were like, oh, I'm fucking broke again.
Oh, that's right.
How did I get here? And then that's when your like whole mindset shifted, like completely.
No, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was I had a couple $1,000 saved up, which I saved up on my own. We purchased a property, and then I shift work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I left DCWI and I went to SpaceX. And then I started making over 6 figures, and I got all this money, and I was just spending it left and right, and I racked up my credit card again, because this is the second time I would have racked up my credit card.
Yeah.
And I dug myself in a massive hole, and then I said, you know what, fuck this, time to fucking change. And that's when I realized it's not how much money you make, but it's how much money you actually keep. Mm-hmm. So that's when I got into seminars, educating myself on how money works, and then going from there. But when I did educate myself and I paid off all that damn debt, I was stingy with my goddamn money because I was just reinvesting to the point that I put myself to be broke on purpose just to make sure that all the money was being deployed.
Yeah, which was the mindset you had actually had. Because I remember before we even were together, we would go on the walks, and you were telling me too how you just pretend you're broke, and that's kind of how you had saved up the money, how you had gotten out of debt the first time, and how you had gone through all the bankruptcy, and so you would always have just a specific amount of money set aside, and then once it was gone, even though your bank account had a bunch of money in it. Mm-hmm. So that was really you always had that little mindset in there. But then it's hard though, because when you are so strict all the time, sometimes you get that money and you're like, oh, this feels good, I can just charge it and not worry.
I remember walking into Best Buy for one thing, and then I came out with a couple $1,000s worth of stuff, and I was like, all right.
You're like bawling. There's no NBA money.
I do remember that now. So yeah, you're right. What I ended up doing was basically opening up different accounts. Mm-hmm. And whatever, so I ended up having one account where it's all the bills get paid through, and whatever was left over, I already knew based on the checks how I was going to distribute each amount for each account. And the moment I got paid, it just went to those specific accounts. So one account was strictly where all your monthly bills, right? Car payments, mortgage, all that stuff. The other account was like, hey, this is your fun money. You could do whatever you want with this fun money. And the rest was you're investing all this No questions asked.
Yeah.
And I made sure I did invest massively.
Yeah.
And then turn it off where I didn't have to see it. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
Yes. So that was really good. And then you also built that sheet, remember, on Excel? That was really helpful too. Being able to like categorize and check your budget. And then you were on it a lot in the beginning.
Yeah, I remember it was like a Excel sheet just to track where my expenses were going and where my income was coming from. This is before we started playing the cash flow game too. Because then once we played the cash flow game, then all I did and people out there could do is look at the cash flow game and look at their bank statements or financial statements and just take that and turn it into an Excel sheet. So I literally just copy what the board game had and turn it into an Excel page. And over the years, it evolved. Like I've now tracked everything in there. So everything from cash on cash returns, cash on equity, what balance is for all my credit cards, to the point where what are the balances we owe on the properties that we have? What is the appreciation on the properties? And the overall cash on equity returns. Because that's what tells me if we're ready to refinance or not.
Yeah.
Which I love equity. That's the thing that's going to make us wealthy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Which is the delayed gratification.
Yep. Well, the delayed gratification is the fact that the property we bought in 2017, we finished the studio. We rented it out. And that's when my mindset really changed because we built the damn studio for $10,000, a little under $10,000. The first rental for that studio was around $800, right? $800. Over the course of the year, the cash on cash return was over 90-something% in 1 year. Like, where else do you see those damn returns?
Yeah.
That was insane. So to me, that was like, okay, how many times can I do this?
Yeah.
How do I get these returns every single time? So having that completely changed my mindset. So the money we got, though, the delayed gratification part was like I didn't use it to let me go buy myself a new car.
Yeah.
I got the payment already. Like, no, I just reinvested that.
Yeah.
So I didn't touch. Even to this day, even now in 2024, the only thing I have moved now that's a benefit, I think, to the entire family was the fact that I used some of the money to buy the whole Knott's fast lane passes. So we don't wait in line because we don't have to wait in line no more.
That's because of you.
Yeah, so I bought the entire family fast passes so we don't wait in line. Like, literally, we could go to the theme park whenever we want, bypass all the fucking lines.
Yeah.
And I make it a point to tell the kids, you know why we bypass the damn lines was because I pay for everything. Yeah. Meaning, like, I am off, like, in a good start, but you guys are broke when you're older. Like, you guys are going to have to work for your own shit. We're not just going to hand you money. Yeah,
that's the goal.
Yeah.
That way they're independent little people.
Yeah, but I want them to enjoy that now so they can see, like, oh, yeah, I'm not. Because before, when I wasn't there, you guys would wait in line.
Yeah.
And that was just a point for them to see, like, oh, shit, this sucks. 2-hour line, 3-hour line.
It's such bonding time. As everyone's on their
I guess
phones.
for you guys, hell no, not for me.
On their phones.
But that was the whole point of delayed gratification was I didn't use any of that money that I was making.
Yeah, but even then now we don't live off of that money.
No.
So we're still in delayed gratification. I don't think people understand that either when they go in. They think, like, they just see all this big, like, houses and all this kind of stuff. But there's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of, like, delayed gratification that you still go throughout the whole process. And if you really start listening to the super successful people that are honest, they're still in their own delayed gratifications.
Yeah. And that's because they have a different mindset, right? People right now are in the, I want it today.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get rich today? Not how do I get rich in 10 years?
Yeah.
Like, not there.
They don't worry about the longevity of it.
No. And people that are making money and they have investments, they're utilizing that profit. They're utilizing that profit not in a good way. They're buying BMWs, they're buying Lexuses, or they're buying Ferraris, or whatever they want.
Or the 10,000 square foot house.
Or a 10,000 square foot house that you don't fucking need. I mean, I don't know. Everyone has a different type of mindset. But this is what I tell people. If you tell me you want to be successful, and then I see your ass going buying all kinds of expensive shit, I talk shit. Yeah. I tell you. Like, the shit you're telling me doesn't match what you're doing.
Yeah, and like that's the point too that I want to bring up is that you can buy those 10,000 square foot homes. You can buy all those like expensive cars, but you have to be able to like back it up too, and not be like, oh, I'm broke, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. So it's like that is possible, but then also have the funds behind it or the work behind it, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and I think in my case I took it to the extreme because even
you don't say
for over a decade I was on my motorcycle. I didn't even buy a car. I remember in I think it was 2015, right when we bought the house, I wanted to get the STI. And I had the option of, okay, buy the STI or fix up the house. And every time I drove by the house and it was dirt, it pissed me off. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just spend the $40,000 on fixing the house versus just go get me that STI. I would have been, okay, cool, awesome, I got an STI, but the house would have looked like shit. And to me, I was like, nah, you know what? Let's fix the entire house, the landscape, everything. And I think it was the best decision to make.
Yeah, it was really nice for our tenants.
Oh, yeah. Because 2 years later, we ended up leaving.
We didn't get to enjoy it. Yeah. That's what we do. So any house you rent from us is going to be like superb because we fix it up.
That's right. We fixed up the entire house. We did the studio, rented that out. Yeah. We rented out the actual main house, which is 4 bedrooms, 2 bath house, and sitting on a lot that's around close to 9,000 square feet, which is an insane amount of room for a property.
Yeah.
Which is actually dope, but I like the entire papers. I like the way it came out.
It was very nice.
Yeah, so that was the first property we rented out in 2017.
But I want to disclaim that we have a super supportive family because that's when the sacrifice came in and we moved us and the kids into my parents' house because you were working night shift too. So I was also tired of being home alone, the house. It didn't make sense for our family to stay out there, especially with the kids' school. So...
Yeah, and I'm super grateful for Anita and Ruben who opened up their house for us. And that's why I tell people, you guys tell me you want to be successful, but you're not willing to sacrifice.
Yeah.
You're not willing to do what it takes to make it happen.
Yeah.
And people are ashamed, like, oh, I got to go move in with my parents. Like, dude, like, do it. If that's what it takes, grind the next 5-10 years. And then give it back to your parents.
Exactly. Well, I mean, like, we didn't live rent free. We definitely.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. But I'm saying, like, if you have the possibility, then do it. Like, for our kids, my mentality used to be, 18, you're out, bro. Like, I don't know what the hell you're going to do.
That.
You're
they still bring
out.
it up.
Now it's like, nah, you guys ain't going to leave till you're 30. And this is the reason why. And it's, you have in your 20s, I want you to have a decade worth of knowledge and experience and then just build, save, invest for 10 years.
Yeah.
By the time you're 30, you're financially free.
Well, I mean, if we have enough money for a compound, they can all build on their own.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they'll be financially free.
Yeah.
And they'll have a better leg up than
That's what
we did.
Someone kept telling you like a long time ago, but you were like, no, they got to leave. They got to leave. And I'm like,
I don't remember that.
I bet you don't. Just don't even remember a lot of things.
Yeah. Don't think so.
Yeah.
I did have an accident on a motorcycle, so.
Hey,
you know what? I got my self-pity moments. Not just playing.
Mine sends everything.
I know.
Okay, cool. So we got that house in Corona, and then we went and stuck it together while you ventured out into Texas, and I stayed home in California. And that's when our properties really started getting more because you had bought the one in Brownsville that you lived in and then house hacked.
Yeah, so in 2020, I had an opportunity to become a supervisor and lead the team in Starbase. Well, Starship at the time, and then it's now known as Starbase in Texas. So when I got there, I had talked to you first. I said, hey, you know what? If I get this job, then I'm going to go to Texas. And I didn't want you guys to come because I already knew how SpaceX operated, where there's no way a new development program. No way in hell I would have been at the house.
No, you were working 22 hours, 30 hours. Yeah.
No possible way. Yeah. If as a tech, I was working almost every day and long, crazy hours to the point that I was investigated several times because I was the number one individual to have the most hours in entire LVSA, which is in SpaceX. And I remember because one of my supervisors told me after everything, he's like, dude, you're investigating. I'm like, for what? Yeah, the fact that you didn't even know, it's mind blowing. I was like, what? I didn't pay attention. I'm freaking working. He's like, exactly. That's what they found out. You were just constantly working. I was like, oh, well, damn, man. And then from there, they never really said, they never questioned the amount of hours I did. Mm-hmm. But that helped me, though, negotiate my promotion pay as a supervisor.
Yeah, how
so? They wanted to lowball me. And I'm like, look, man, on average, and I just, again, numbers. I said the past 3 years, on average, this is the hours that I've been working as a tech. Do you really think I'm going to lower that as a supervisor in a new program?
We're going to suck my soul.
Yeah. I remember HR was like, well, this and this. And the director's like, nah, give Efren what he wants. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, sweet. And so now I'm getting distracted. But now, 2020, got the job, got promoted, flew out to Texas. And I want to touch a little bases on who I met in Texas because I think what she did was pretty awesome. So I met a developer, right? Because I went and I was just like, you know what? Let me go look at houses.
Yeah, because you've been living in that awesome Home to Suites. Shout out to Home to Suites.
Oh, yeah. I was.
It was amazing.
On Home to Suites for around 6 months.
Yeah. It was a long time.
And finally, we were stable at work. I was like, you know what? Let me go look for properties.
Yeah.
But I remember before even living at Home to Suites, though, because when I went for my interview, I was like, oh, let me go scope out real estate.
Yeah.
So I went, and then I called Tatiana, which is one of our realtors in Brownsville.
Amazing.
And before I called Tatiana, I was calling other realtors, and the realtors over the phone are like, hey, man, are you pre-approved? I was like, no, I'm just calling to see if I could look at this. I'm here for a job interview, and if I get it, then I'll use you guys. And they're like, no, you got to be pre-approved. I was like, okay, thank you for your time.
Give you the time of day.
No, so I called Tatiana, and she's all like, yeah, man, I'll hook you up. I was like, oh, sweet. And I like those type of people, right? Because they're, okay, let's go.
Go-getters.
Yep. So, but before I even met her, I met her husband. I didn't know there were a couple.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was wild.
I landed, I went straight to look at real estate, and I saw this beautiful house being built. So I walk over there, and I talk to one of the contractors that's there. I'm like, hey, man, who's in charge of this project? He's like, oh, Rigo. I'm like, all right, can I have his number? They're like, yeah, cool. And they gave me the number. I called Rigo. I'm like, hey, man, I'd like to meet you. You're developing this property. I think it's nice. I'd like to get something like that. Okay, I'm on this property. So I go and he shows me plans of the new one he's doing. So I'm like, all right, cool. Nice to meet you, man. And then I started calling realtors. I don't know why I didn't ask him, like, do you know of any realtors? I just, slipped my mind. I was more excited of the build.
Yeah.
So then I called Tatiana. Tatiana was like, yeah, man, I'll show you. And literally she showed me around those. I was there 2 days, I think, for the interview. Then flew back. And then that's when I got hired, went back over there. And 6 months later, we were starting to look at properties. So she hooked me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found one property that we liked. We negotiated. And she's cool because I'm like, hey, look, man.
Working with you.
I was like, look, I'm seeing the market is just flipped upside down. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, so I explained it. I said, well, in a good market, new developments are more expensive than existing properties. I'm like, here, existing properties are over new developments.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, so let's go after a new development. And so yeah, we went and got a new development. It was a brand new property in a new community, and it was a second house built. So I think at that time that property was going for, say, $240,000 around that, brand new. And it's Was it 4 bedrooms or 3?
3.
3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, around 1,800 square feet. The lot was around 7,000 square feet, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember it, so I'm going to have to trust you. No lying.
Yeah. So we made an offer. I said, hey, you know what? Give them the ask. I didn't want to lowball them. I just said, give them the ask, but have them pay all the closing costs. So we made the offer. They accepted. But little did I know that the appraisal, they didn't know how to appraise the property because there's nothing around there.
Yeah.
They ended up saying, hey, the property is worth $200,000. So the developer called me. He's like, hey, can I not install the steel doors? I'm like, nah, man. I'm buying this house as we agreed. Well, can I see the appraisal? I'm not sure, man. I'll share it with you. So I sent it to him because he was worried about the other properties he was building. So he saw it, he read it, he's like, all right, man, I'm going to put the steel doors, everything we agreed on, everything will be there. And then I told him, hey, man, if you do the other side, cement walk pay, I'll give you a little bit more. So he ended up doing the other side too, because originally it was only going to be the right side that had all the actual cement. The left side was going to have a little bit of grass. So I'm like, nah, let's just do cement on both sides.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got that house. And because
this was like before 2020 though, because remember
this is 2019.
Yep. Yeah.
This is 20 because I went to work over there in 2019.
Yeah.
So in 2019, when I got that house, what I ended up doing is I rented out the rooms.
Yeah. House hack.
Yeah. So
that one was actually not that long gratification technically because it took off a big part of the burden of the mortgage.
Yeah, but I still didn't use the extra money to spoil myself. If anything, I remember in 2019, I was negative $17 or $19, and on purpose.
Yeah, I was like, you pushed to do that. That was
I massively invested that year, like the entire year, even though I didn't have to pay the entire mortgage. All that extra, I pretended like I was paying the entire mortgage.
Yeah,
and I utilized that money to just invest. And I took it even further because...
And when you invest, though, you're talking about you were investing in the stocks?
I was investing in stocks.
Okay.
And then until it grew. Like, the way I cycle the money was invest in stocks, it grows, pull it out, buy another property.
So do you feel like stocks, side note, are part of, like, delayed gratification? Or do you think they're, like, instant? Because, I mean, there's ways you can go about it.
Well, yeah. If you day trade, it'll be instant. But... 99 point something % of people that day trade will lose their money. This is what I tell people. If you day trade, start with $5,000. If you could build that $5,000 into $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, then you know what you're doing. But if you think, oh, well, you know what, the SEC is killing me with the three day trade, 3 turnaround trades per day. This is why I can't make money. Nah, you have a stupid mindset. That means that you don't know how to trade and you shouldn't be trading.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to it. But that was just a little side note for those that want to invest. Where can they invest? That's there. Okay, keep going. So
we bought that house, rented it out.
Made yourself negative.
Yeah, made myself negative.
And
this is during the time that at this time we had, I was in charge of around 70 people in SpaceX.
Yeah, direct reports.
Yep, 70 direct reports. And to the point where I was having lunch, eating my steak, I was like balling out. I had my steak, all healthy meat. And everybody's like, does your wife cook for you, man? I was like, no, my wife's not even here. I cooked this. And they're like, what? Do you want to try it? And they tried it because I had breakfast too. I had these badass pancakes, protein pancakes. And so they tried it and they're like, can you make me some food? I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you know what? Why not? And I started thinking, would it take me extra time to do this? Because I was constrained with time. Like,
yes, very.
So I was like, let me try this out. I jumped in to grill again and then to cook. And all I did was make bigger portions. Yeah. So I tried it the first time and I was like, okay, I think I could make this happen. So I said, you know what? I'll make you guys food. Who wants to buy some food? There was a bunch of people. So what I ended up doing, I went to Costco, bought the filet mignon. I didn't cut corners. I had all the good damn food that you can possibly think of, the healthy food. And so that's what I ended up doing. I cooked same amount of time, but I just sold everything, and my food was now property was free, food was free, and I just saved all that money and reinvested. And again, to the point where I was negative 17 or 19 bucks a month. And I sustained that for the entire year, just reinvesting. And that's what I mean by delayed gratification. But I took it to the extreme levels.
You don't have to go that far. But it worked.
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay. And then 2020, you came back right before the pandemic.
I came back
like literally
at the pandemic.
Days before the pandemic. Yeah. It was like days before.
I remember I was in Starship and I told the people, hey, you know what? I got to go. The family needs me. I think I did my job here. And little did I know, I was getting ready to get promoted to a manager.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I didn't know this, but I got the hint from seeing how everything was going on, and then give me a hint, like, hey, we're going to get you a supervisor. Like, right before I got on the damn jet. And
nice.
Yeah, right before. And then I thought about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is where it's going. But after having a conversation with you, I was like, yeah, you know what? Nah, I'll just stay in California. And I think it was the right choice.
I would looking like to say so, because we got married.
I take it back.
That's a good choice, I'm going to have to say.
Yeah, when we got here, I was pretty much in limbo land.
Yeah. It was very weird for a little bit.
I don't know, because the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So I have no one to report to. I have no direct reports at the time. I was at home, and they let me just stay there for a while. Yeah. I think they just saw it as this guy just...
give this man a break.
Yeah. And so I chilled for the house for a bit until they called me up saying, hey, do you want to start another team?
Yeah.
And I remember that's when I met Patrick. And the first thing I said was, if I join this team, I'm not working 12 hours a day. I need a break.
Yeah.
So he promised I wasn't going to do 12 hours, do 8 hours for a while, and then...
Which you did.
Yeah, which you kept the word.
Which is like something to point out too, is that you do get burnt out. Like, people need to realize that all that hard hustling that you did, like, there gets to a point for everyone. Because I think you felt for a while like invincible, because all you did was go, 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 go.
Because I was.
Sure thing. But it was interesting too, because when you'd come back, which was a really cool setup that you negotiated, part of it was that you came back every 2 weeks.
Yep.
And they actually paid for your flights home.
Oh yeah, they did.
And then if they didn't have the flights, you were on the jets at some points. But that's for another story, because we don't want to sidetrack too far. But when you would come home for those 3 days, 2 of them, you were like dead. You were exhausted.
Oh, but yeah, man, constantly not being like...
Yeah.
I didn't even go home to sleep. It was just constantly just at work.
Yeah.
I slept on a piece of shit couch at work.
Oh, yeah.
On the same fucking piece of shit couch.
They couldn't afford a good couch.
At the time, like, man, we're told build this rocket with sticks and rocks, okay?
Yeah, it was. In this tent.
Yeah.
And hey, the storm's coming, button down the hatches.
That's right. That's for another story too. That's insane.
Yes, that was wild. We'll do a SpaceX edition. Yeah. But so like, yeah, just be prepared. I don't think people realize it too. And then you have all that momentum and you're going and going. So you had your, like, every 2 weeks, I would say, you got your actual couple of days of rest, and then you had to go back. And then once you fully stopped, your body and mind were just like, whoa, like, what do I do now?
Well, when I fully stopped, it was it's like I had to make a hard choice, right?
Yeah.
And leaving the entire team, it was like building a family. Because by the time I left, I had 394 direct reports. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I'm not going to say no possible way, but more than likely to remember all those names, it wasn't going to happen. The max number of names I remember was 74.
That's impressive. Because you don't remember names.
Correct. I thought I didn't remember names, but I did a damn good job remembering names.
More excuses.
Oh yeah, I know. It's funny, the mental blockers, right? Oh, right. I can't remember. It's hard. It's hard.
No.
It's hard to put a name to the face.
No, it's not.
No, when you have to do it, you'll do it. Because knowing someone's name is important, especially if they're working for you.
Mm-hmm. And that was what made you stand out too as a leader, because when you are in SpaceX, unfortunately it's so big, you do become a number. But when you're like your leadership roles, remember who you are, it makes your day so much better.
Correct. But coming back home, it was a tough choice, right? So I think that's the part that got me. Where to the point, I think I was depressed, right? Because I was like, I don't know what fucking
depressed.
feeling I'm feeling.
Like, I don't know what this is. And I was like, oh, welcome to the world of darkness.
And I was just in this gutter mindset.
Yeah.
And I had to crawl my way back out. And when I did, I was my mind was just thinking, I'm not going back there. Like, there's no possible way to go back there. Now that I've been through it.
Yeah. No. It's not fun.
No. Yeah. But got back here in 2020. I decided to go buy another property.
Yeah.
That's when we bought barbed wire. So that one we purchased for around $245.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah.
Yeah, so $245. And the funny part is that we went and saw that property.
Yes.
And it was our developer's property.
Yep.
I remember him showing me like, hey man, this is the house I'm building. I'm like, looks nice, man. But it's kind of hard to envision the completion part. When you just go and you're seeing drywall and you're seeing framework and he's showing you and you're just like, I don't know, man. And then it was funny because one of the guys I worked over there in SpaceX with, well, he worked for me. He calls me, like, hey man, if you buy this house, I'll rent it out from you. It's like, you know what? Let me look at it. And I called Tatiana and I was like, hey, Tatiana, I want to buy this house. Dude, that's Rigo's house. Like, oh, shit. Like,
well, then, small
I was like, well, in that case, I'm not going to negotiate that hard. You know?
Right?
Yeah, so I did the same thing. I said, hey, we'll give you the ask if you pay for the closing costs.
Yes.
So we bought it, which is a great house. We still have it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the one in barbed wire. And then shortly after, and everyone kept telling me I was crazy. And I remember because they were telling me, aren't you going too fast?
Yeah.
I was like, not fucking fast enough. Not fast enough. So we ended up buying another house, but this time with friends. So I was able to raise capital from our friends. And then we busted a deal together and bought the one in Roanoke.
Yeah, which is funny because we weren't looking for my parents' house in Texas. And we're like, oh, we really like this house. This has great potential.
So we're like, let's get the money together and got the money together. We're also part of that deal and bought the house in Roanoke. And that was during the development phase because we didn't know what they were going to build in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And ended up being a badass park.
Such a nice park.
And we bought that property for... They wanted 300. Oh. Because they wanted 330, something like that. And we're like, 280. And... And I remember,
kills my soul.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. It's okay.
I remember you're like, why would you do that, man? Because it's during the pandemic. There's no demand yet.
Oh my God, there was so much demand during
after we bought this house, the entire floodgates open. Like everyone was fighting for us.
We have really good with timing. I will say we had pretty good luck with some
I
of
just
stuff.
saw it as
I know we studied the market and all that things, but
I saw an opportunity because there was not a lot of people looking at houses. And to me, it's if no one's looking at houses, that's why shouldn't that be the time for me to go look at houses?
I look at houses every day.
Yeah, but actually to go and execute, right?
With the idea of purchasing, not just dreaming.
Correct. I'm not gonna waste my time just going to look at houses. I could do that on Zillow or Redfin on my phone. I don't have to go spend time looking at them. Well, we bought that house and then rented it out. That was also the first time I was able to get a tenant online. Like everything was documented
and via internet. Yeah, because the other two Texas properties, you'd known the people, which when you got them in, but this one was all. Online.
All online. I didn't meet the tenants. I didn't even greet them at the door. I had the lockbox installed. Yeah. The keys there. Signed the lease. They put the deposit on hold. They moved in, gave them the code. And then and they're still there. And
they were only going to sign for 1 year.
And they're going to, they want to renew for another 2 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But originally they're like, oh, I'll just stay here
for a year. Exactly.
We want to get a house.
Oh, and that's the story because when we bought that house, that was the last house we bought in 2020. So once we bought Roanoke, we rented it out. Out here during summer of 2020, the floodgates open and everyone was fighting for real estate.
Yeah, people are paying over $100,000.
So I remember this couple came in to our Acacia property, and our tenant had barely moved out because she also bought a house.
Yeah, and she
which I was like, this
she was
pretty
our
badass.
first tenant.
Correct. I'm like, congratulations, like, yeah, we good end the lease, and that was during summer anyway, so her lease was almost expiring.
Yeah,
and I remember a couple telling me, yeah, we just hold this house. We're gonna wait till the market crash. I was like, what? Why would you do that? No one knows when the market's going to crash. Just because you're seeing that everything's moving up, but you got to ask yourself why. And this is why I say, like, when people were heavily buying, what did I say? Okay, let's sit out. Let's wait.
What did I say?
Yeah. What is it? That's something that she doesn't like when I said.
All the time. What did I say? I don't know. You tell me what you said.
So yeah, at that time I said, okay, you know what? The market's too damn hot. Because I was even thinking of.
We were trying to find a place too. That was before we got into the apartment.
Yeah, so I said, you know what? Let's just go rent an apartment. And that's another thing. We own all these properties, and we ended up going to an apartment. 2-bedroom
apartment with 2 to 4 kids.
And
if we can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, I mean.
And the cats and dogs and.
Yep. But again, a lot of people are not going to do it.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they want to floss their money, show off. Whatever they got to do.
Yeah.
But to me, it made no sense to buy at that time because everyone was just outbidding each other.
Yeah, it was stupid.
So they were like, you know what? Let me not buy nothing. And then just reinvest the money that we're having. So during that time, 2020, the last house we bought was Roanoke. Fast forward to 2021, summertime of 2021, I was like, you know what? I think people are burned out. I think it's time to go look for another property.
Yeah.
And we went.
It took us a minute, though.
Yeah, during summer.
Because our lease was up in October, too.
Correct. And, we didn't buy summer then. We bought towards the end of 2021.
In October. Yeah, because our lease
so I was like,
up.
you know what? Like, things are slowing down.
Because I was
everyone's burned out.
Like, let's get a house.
Everyone's burned out. Let's go look at houses.
Yeah.
We did look at several houses, and then they wanted $695
for Greystone.
For Greystone?
No, it was in the 7s.
No, we pushed it up to the 7s.
No, I don't believe you. I think you're wrong.
So where was it?
It was close to what we put in.
No, it wasn't.
You said it was $699.
We put $30,000 more.
You want to argue with me?
Yes, I am going to argue with you.
Okay, fine, boss. Whatever you say.
Because I was even thinking, I don't want to put that much more in the property. But I was like,
Also, the slims were the pickings were slim, as they say. There wasn't a lot on the market.
Yeah, I know for sure there wasn't a lot. But this property had good bones. It also sat on a close to
giant. It was 10,000. It was 10,000.
Close to 10,000 square feet lot, and borderline LA and Cerritos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's like right on the border of Orange. You mean more like Orange County?
Yeah.
Yeah, Orange County, LA border. Yeah.
Finding a property with that square footage in that area, I was like, let's buy it. So that's why I didn't mind. Okay, let's do another 30,000 on top of their ask because they came with best and final offer, right? So we ended up getting that property, and then you guys went on vacation. And while you were on vacation, I said, you know what? This bathroom sucks.
It did, but you didn't.
And I just tore it up. I destroyed the entire bathroom. And then I think I sent a photo, right?
Yeah, you did.
All right. So when I sent the photo, what were your thoughts?
We were in the house for 3 weeks. And I had to calm everybody else down.
Hold on. Time out. Technical difficulties. So we left off on...
You decided to Bob the Builder the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. So I got my hammer and I said, you know what? This bathroom sucks. Because it did. It did. Shower was just super old. When I showered, I couldn't even move my arms. how to do this, I don't know what, shuffle to turn around. You drop the sub, there's no way of getting the sub.
No, there was not. You got to open the door. You got to open the door.
So to me, I was done. I was like, let's destroy this. What were your thoughts when I sent you that photo?
I was like, oh, my specific house search said 2 bathrooms. That was my first thought. I was like, I specifically requested that we have 2 toilets. It didn't even have to be 2 bathrooms. But with all of us, I was like, no, we need 2 toilets. And then you went and fucking destroyed our other bathroom. And then my family was like, what? And so I had to calm them down. And inside I was raging. And so I was like, it's fine. He'll take care of it. He always takes care of things really fast.
Yeah, little did I know that we were in a shortage because of the pandemic.
Perhaps you should have researched that first.
No, I don't think anyone knew.
Well, it was you wanted to do it yourself, first of all.
Oh, yeah, we tried that out. I was like, yeah, I'll have time.
No
Nope.
fucking time.
Nope.
You're like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to buy all the tools. Then you tried having your brother, but your brother lived like 2 hours away. Yeah. It was like no way he could get it done. But we didn't have a bathroom for a year.
Well, we didn't have.
It was like 9 months.
A bathroom and a kitchen.
That was separate. Like
yeah, so what we ended up doing was I started the renovations in the bathroom. I was going in a good pace, but then one of our contractors got sick. And we're at the same time remodeling the entire kitchen. We broke walls, we installed a beam and the support, and then the city and the damn company did not want to proceed because there was an unpermitted section of the house.
Which was
and we only found out because the roofers, at the same time we're doing all this construction, we did the entire roof, the entire HVAC system. Everything from that house was from the ground up rebuilt. And I remember they were on hold because they were talking about, but what if? And when I heard that, I was like, what the fuck you mean, what if? Like, just build this shit. I'm the owner. I'll take responsibility. If they didn't make us do negative work, then so what? We'll do negative work, but don't stop on the what if.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was pissed with that company. Like, you've been delaying this shit on a what if? Like, if you tell me if you could build it, yes or no. And so they're like, okay, we're going to build it. And they build it. Inspectors came to the point that inspectors come and then they say, hey, someone already signed off. Oh, no, our contractors told us, hey, Efren, I think someone bought off this inspection, but we haven't called an inspection. I was like, what do you mean someone bought it off? And it turns out that the roofer inspector bought off all the open tickets. So when they bought off all the open tickets, I'm like, nah, call the city, tell them to come inspect this because the last thing I need is we finish and they say, hey, we never even inspected.
Yeah.
So, but the good part about that is that when we were doing the entire renovations, we had an idea that there was a leak already on one of the tubes because the toilet was always getting clogged up. And remember, we got the camera and then they say there's a hairline crack.
Yeah, it was no hairline crack.
No hairline crack. That shit was a massive fucking hole. And we found out because we were tearing the entire concrete to put these beam supporters so we don't have to have a wall there. And it has a much open space concept. And when one of our kids used the bathroom,
well, the contractor was in there and was like, hey.
He's like, what? You got a massive leak.
Well, your kids flushed the toilet. My other contractor goes showered.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So they ended up, I said, yeah, since you're already there, just open it up more and pull that pipe out and replace it. So they did.
Because we had just finished the bathroom.
Yeah.
We'd renovated the second bathroom because we finally had one bathroom. So
Correct.
we went from one bathroom. We started out with 2, down to 1, then back to 2, then back down to 1.
Yeah. Because it made sense to do all the renovations.
I know. Don't have to convince me.
So during that time, they replaced it. And at that moment, though, before I forget, in 2021, when we bought it, this was now in 2022 when we started major renovations. So in 2022, I also said, you know what? What if I raise capital? Like I did it once already. Can I do it again?
Yeah.
So I remember being all stoked and happy because, I made some phone calls and I raised about $130,000 in one day. And I was like, damn, I'm like, awesome. So then I got all the money that a couple days later from our investors. And then I deployed the money Originally, the money we were going to use to buy another property, but it still did not make sense to
No,
buy
there's
another
nothing.
property.
We looked everywhere.
And I made it to the point on the contract saying, hey, if I deploy the money, it's going to be related to real estate, renovations, buying a property, whatever the case is. But I made it sweet. I made a sweet deal because I said, I only need the money for, I think it was 8 months, right? Or 6 months.
Something really quick.
So I think it was 6 months. So what I ended up doing, because I couldn't find a house, and I found one duplex, and I still to this day regret not pulling the fucking trigger because that would have been a perfect one. But it took me a while, and this is normally not me. I was just rethinking, should I buy another one right now? And by the time I say, you know what, let me do it, it was already off the market. I was like, damn it. And that was the only good deal that was out there. So when that happened, I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy all our appliances. I bought all the appliances. And it still took months for us to get those appliances.
That's okay. Construction took longer. So
yeah.
Right.
So by the time all the appliances got here, we had to store it in the house because construction was still not done. But the funny part was that our appliances appreciated in value. When, how the fuck does that happen? You know? But this is during a shortage, during everything taking forever. By the time the 6 months came around, what I ended up doing was all I did was sold some stock that I had and paid back the investors. But the reason I saved way more money doing that versus holding off until everything was done and then buying the appliances, because at that point the appliances were just super expensive.
And they still are.
Yeah, and I mean we got some pretty dope high-end shit for that property.
Yeah, they have really nice stuff.
Oh, yeah,
they have my dream fridge.
Yeah. Then we finished it by 2023, right?
Yep. We were out July 31st, 2023. And then August 1st, the tenants moved in.
Yeah, so we finished it. We didn't even get to enjoy it.
Nope. We didn't even unbox. Literally, we lived in boxes in that whole entire house. And then, oh my God, that construction dust is no fucking joke.
Yeah.
That was rough. Talk about... Yeah, first world problems. I get it, but that was rough and loud. That cement breaking. You were so lucky. I have to go to work.
I have to go to work.
I have to work at home and school the kids and take care of these
I did
dogs.
go to work. What do you mean I have to go to work?
Yeah, run out the door so fast.
Yeah. So I guess for the audience, do you have any suggestions or recommendations for them?
No. Buckle up if that's what you're gonna do. In what regards to like living through construction or like
I guess was it worth doing all that delayed gratification?
Truthfully, yes and no. It's really hard when you go through the pain and torture and then you like don't get to enjoy it at all. But I mean, it was part of the game plan. So like if you put aside your emotions, like, yeah, absolutely. Our tenants love that house. They love everything about it. So it's cool to be able to see like them enjoy it and know that it's in a good place and that people are there respecting your property and just like knowing like all the hard work you did go through and that you put your kids through is paid off. And I think like those kinds of lessons too for the kids are going to be beneficial later because we do like our kids are pretty spoiled. I'd say they live a good life, but they've also had to go through a lot of things that the average kid doesn't have to go through. Yeah. So I think it helps build character and them seeing the hard work and understanding. They're at that age where they understand, okay, so like this is where it's going to benefit us later on because we went through all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And my recommendation is to anyone out there that wants to do this, you don't have to be as extreme as I am. And
you don't have to drag your partner
my
with it.
wife, but I was point blank with you, right? This is what I want to do, and we're still doing it.
Yeah.
Because I am an ambitious. This is something I got to tell people. So if you want to be successful, motivation videos are not going to help you out. Mm-mm. Being successful means you got to be disciplined. So if you have a game plan, stick to it. And you also have to be obsessed. You're going to have family members saying, what the fuck are you doing? They're going to be either you or your partner, even your partner at times is going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? And if you're disciplined, you're going to stick to your guns, basically. You're going to make sure that Even though you're hearing all kinds of negative shit from different type of people, friends, family, strangers, if you know what you're doing, keep going. It's going to be a hard path forward, but it's a well worth path forward. At least that's what I think. I don't know. My wife thinks differently.
Yeah.
But I mean, fast forward 20 years from now, you don't have to worry about shit.
That's what you've been preaching to me for years.
I mean,
so.
well, and I'll give you,
the goal.
I'll give you guys some numbers. Now, on a yearly basis, we profit on around $186,000 just in profit.
Untouched, mind you. We're still delaying the gratification.
Yeah, and
all of that goes right back into the business, back into the properties, back into the next properties.
Yeah, and that's not to just flaunt our shit because we still don't spend it. I don't go fucking drive a Ferrari. I don't go buy anything that
You don't drive
makes
anything
sense.
right now.
Oh yeah, that's a different story. But
Oh, no, we don't want to talk about that.
I think that would be a great story to tell. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely worth it. And if you could get away from the mindset of you need the money today and then start thinking of how you could reinvest your capital to have a better future, you guys will be set. But you got to make those sacrifices. You are going to lose time with family. All this bullshit about being in a life balance nonsense. You sent me a video the other day about this freaking multi-millionaire being, you know what? It's not about the paycheck. It's time to be with the family.
Oh, yeah.
Motherfucker, you did that at the end when you were a multi-millionaire. Don't have to fucking worry about shit. Now you say, oh, family first. And then the thing that pissed me off was he was saying he was doing it for a paycheck. I'm not doing this shit for a paycheck. I'm doing this shit for the vision that I have where if I die tomorrow or the next day or whenever the fuck I die, even if my kids were saying this motherfucker was never with us, somewhere in the future, they're going to think back and say, fuck, I have all this because of my dad. At that point, I'm happy. Mm-hmm. That's all they say. And then the great kids are like, you know what? I have this fucking opportunity because of my great grandpa. That to me is everything. The fucking check is not. That's why when he said that, I was like, nah, that ain't me. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I tossed it away, but that's my vision is different from your average person.
You don't say.
And with that,
I will say this. If you are going to go down this path like we have, you have to find a good partner and a good support. Because if we didn't have each other, and I don't think either one of us would be where we're at.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
And with that, we end this long ass episode. I hope you got some value off it.
Hope you watched it to the end.
Yeah.
Took a lot of time.
See you guys till next time.
Bye.